I think it's a situation where she'll be judged if she lessens that load on her own because that's what her quote unquote gender roles is. Let's say a woman going out there working her ass off and she say, you know what, I'm gonna hire a nanny, and it's her idea. People gonna look at it like she ducking the responsibility of being a parent, or you putting your career over your child. Like what? Like men get to do that because again, that's not our traditional gender role. But as a woman, if you hire that nanny and you hire that chef and you hire that cleaning lady, you lazy, and you not you working all the way outside of your purpose. They get unfairly judged for that. I mean, I ain't saying it's right. I'm just saying that's what the perception is gonna be.
So I hear what you're saying, Trill, and I think this is why I'm saying it would be an interesting conversation. Because if that woman is a stay at home mother and that man hires a nanny or hires a housekeeper or hires a chef, she doesn't get that judgment. Why is it only when she's
You're absolutely right. There was a study that said that if she makes so much more because she contributes so much to the household, it is like overage. It's like
so that's what it has to be, because the funniest thing, we did this on my show where I said, how do people divorce into financial ruin, not financial prosperity? So why are they citing finances? So that has to be true, that finances really means that I'm uncomfortable with this financial arrangement, and then making more might be one of those things.
I think, can I add to that? Because I think when a woman, if she's making more, then her job is demanding more, right? So a lot of those responsibilities, it's no longer the man is the breadwinner, right? So therefore, you're expecting your woman to work around the house as if she doesn't have a job. And her job is demanding her more, and now she's the breadwinner. And I think that men are not ready for those type of
and that's actually what I wanted to touch on really quick, because that's what I want to add to my first point was, in men and then women, obviously you can bring your own opinion into this, but I heard someone kind of explain that women can't handle the workload and all that it requires of them mentally and emotionally, and then come home and do all the household stuff the same way that men can. Like, men can handle this stuff so much easier. It's funny, like, even talking to my husband, I'm like so concerned, like, just regular stuff, and he's like, no problem. Like, a man will like pick up another job if he has to, no problem. Is that right, Sugar Mike?
So the reason the last question I asked on the show is today, because this is something that you'll see in marriage, and I just, it's so disheartening to me that men get blamed for this when it goes wrong. I said, what do women have to sacrifice in order to achieve a positive work-life balance? And it's women struggling with that usually leads them to divorce, getting angry at their man because he can't, it's an impossible issue for him to help them with. Because the funniest thing is that the one thing we never ask as men is, well, what can I do to help you? And what you'll notice is it's never enough. It's never enough. Not because she is the one who's struggling maintaining. She's the one who's struggling juggling the job. She's overexerting herself in something that got nothing to do with you, right? And then coming home and blaming it on you. So that's the thing we never ask as men. Just be like, what can I do to help? There's not enough dishes you can wash, nor clothes you can fold that will actually make her content with the situation, because she's overcompensating on one other end.
So I love that you said that, Trigger Mike, because the one thing that we typically see, and Troll touched on it earlier, when men elevate in their income or their ability to provide, one of the first things they do is lessen that woman's load. They hire the housekeeper, they hire somebody to maintain the home. However, you're not finding that when women do the same. And I think it could be an interesting conversation of whether it's societal norms or not. But women won't typically hire that assistance. They'll try to be superwoman and manage it all, which winds up dropping all the balls. But why is it more socially acceptable for a man to lessen that load for you? But if you have that income, you're not willing to fit that bill.
I think it's a situation where she'll be judged if she lessens that load on her own because that's what her quote unquote gender roles is. Let's say a woman going out there working her ass off and she say, you know what, I'm gonna hire a nanny, and it's her idea. People gonna look at it like she ducking the responsibility of being a parent, or you putting your career over your child. Like what? Like men get to do that because again, that's not our traditional gender role. But as a woman, if you hire that nanny and you hire that chef and you hire that cleaning lady, you lazy, and you working all the way outside of your purpose. They get unfairly judged for that. I mean, I ain't saying it's right. I'm just saying that's what the perception is going to be.
So I hear what you're saying, Trill, and I think this is why I'm saying it would be an interesting conversation, because if that woman is a stay-at-home mother and that man hires a nanny or hires a housekeeper or hires a chef, she doesn't get that judgment. Why is it only when she's working and fitting the bill for that assistance is then there the judgment? Because she could be at home the whole time and still get assistance if that man elevates and everybody's cool with it. But if she's working and struggling, if she's choosing that assistance, it becomes a problem. Why?
I'm wondering if it's because she's out. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Coach K.
I was just gonna say because she's, and I'm just guessing that she's outside the home doing something that's not naturally her duty. And also too, another study that I want to break down and really look into, but women are not, even though they're elevating, they're not as happy as they once were too. So I wonder if that's a part of it. But anyway,
yeah,
go ahead, Trill. Sorry.
I agree.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, because again, if let's say if the man hires her help and she's a stay-at-home mom, it's still perceived that she's doing those things, but he's just helping her out here, there. The nanny come in, she get a day off, she get a day off to cook, whatever. But if you out there chasing down your career, and just like y'all said, and y'all right, you elevate in your career, the demands become more. You in charge of people and things of that nature. So you're gonna be, even when you home, you still at work. So people automatically assume, okay, she masculine as hell, and she trying to get rid of all of her feminine duties to go be this masculine woman and chase this money down. That's what the perception is. But if your man doing it for you, then you still operating in your feminine role. Your man is taking care of you. You following his lead. He's saying that, hey, we need to get you a little help in here, but you still following his lead. But if you the breadwinner and you doing that, people gonna deem that as, oh, she just masculine as hell, and she trying to dictate the table, and again, that's outside of y'all's gender roles or y'all natural purpose, as people say all the time. So that's why the judgment.
Can I offer a quick example? And this is anecdotal, just someone I know, one person, but she's a stay-at-home mom. They have 4 kids, and her husband's a surgeon. Although she does have the degrees, they've been together since they were 19, so which is still very rare. They do have a cleaning lady sometimes, but she has her own like ministry. She's always like helping out at the school. So it's like, it does allow for her, although she does clean and they have a huge house, she can at least, that does alleviate a little bit. So then she does help. She has so much going on. So she's still at least hands in, in the house, I guess.
I think that one of the things, to go back to your point, Trill, I think it really matters the same way the education level matters. It's not really if she does it, it's how she operates while doing it. So if she now takes on the identity of, I put this in play, or I'm a PhD, or you get what I'm saying? I don't think the actual action is the issue. It's how she perceives her role after the action, and then how she implements, how she moves within the relationship. Back to Trigger Mike, renegotiating those gender roles. Because it could be done. And I think, like, when we talk about other communities, especially in our community, we fantasize that other groups of women can out earn or can get these degrees or can contribute to a household and then come in and never try and renegotiate those gender roles. And I'm gonna put this on the man, because I think that those gender role negotiations is all on you, big dog. Whether you let that shit happen or not, whether you okay with the progression of how those things move, because you can stop a lot of that stuff in the beginning if it even was going to become a problem. So